eagle-eyed viewers will notice that there's some continuity errors going on here. And we've split the Tama Monorail into 2 days. And where are we right now?
We're going to start the second half of the Tama Monorail adventure here in front of the local Communist Party headquarters.
Which we randomly found. We weren't expecting to find this.
Just walking down the road, I was like, well, that's unique. And for people that aren't like super tuned into Japanese politics, and I'm not like really deep into it, but this is a kind of, it's not like a fringe political party. They actually hold like power within, not like majority power, but like they hold seats within local and like federal level government entities, yeah. Couldn't find a way to like finish that out. Yeah. So it's not like a ooh scary like the way that like some people from certain countries might think of the word communist. It's just like this is a legitimate political party that
they have here. A vision for the country that they think is good, and many people support it, and votes. They're actually helping.
They're just part of the system.
Yeah, they're
Let's
part
put
of
it
the
that
system.
way. I'm not gonna have a political opinion about this. I'm just gonna say it exists.
So pretty interesting to see, but we got something we're gonna go see behind this building. You think these communists are trying to get us in with the tofu? Because this is literally in their backyard. Like, I think they've got soft serve tofu ice cream in there, and then there's gonna be like a pamphlet and a seminar, and then we will never leave here. But seriously, we're here for tofu. So we're gonna go and have breakfast.
The little place that's next to the communist place is a tofu shop. And they have a lot of different goods inside, which different types of tofu are used to create. It's kind of wild, actually. There's like lots of like deep fried stuff, and a lot of it is actually deep fried. You asked me to move so that you could be in the tree.
I had already moved over.
No, I'm in the tree. Anyway, the reason I'm getting into this like kind of quickly is because one of the things that they have for breakfast is their meibutsu, their like speciality, is tofu ice cream. Is that soy milk? There we go. Soy milk ice cream. And I can't eat ice cream very much because I have trouble with milk. So whenever I come across this, I always want to give it a go. Because I don't know, everybody else gets to eat it a lot. Yeah, it's like what, 10 a.m.
Yeah. You've decided it's time for that. They also have like donuts, and that's what I'm going to be having for breakfast.
I thought about dipping a donut in this.
I'm doing that. I think I'm going to restrict myself. There was tons of other stuff in there. Like, we've been eating tofu for dinner, and I really wanted to get the same like stuff that we buy from the supermarket from here, so that I can kind of see what artisan tofu tastes like. And they don't have an artisan vibe in there. They got a real like mom made this tofu kind of vibe.
It's like a factory line, like a small little factory, like in the back. Like you can see it in the kitchen, and you can see them doing stuff. So yeah, I wouldn't call it artisan, but it's cool that it's made at the place.
It's denser than I imagined. It is squishy, but still has a hard outside.
She said that this has egg in it. It's not vegan, but it does not have cow products. I asked specifically, does this have milk or anything, or butter or anything like that? And she said no, but it does have. It smells like Lucky Charms. The gray bits. That's not good. That's not a good review. It's not the part of the Lucky Charms everybody wants.
That's true, but that's what it smells like. And it looks more like cake on the inside than I thought it was going to look like cake on the inside. For some reason, I just thought tofu, and I was like, it's going to be the white kind of not.
I'm going to raw dog
great.
One.
Okay, raw dogging?
Yeah. I feel like we're having fika for breakfast.
It's good. That's a nice donut.
It's not sweet at all.
Oh, it's sweet? What do you
think?
There's some sweetness. I mean, it's not overwhelming.
Ice cream, maybe that's
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it just tastes like a deep fried donut. Again, it's not. I don't think it's very sweet.
I feel like if I took this to someone and gave it to them, they'd question its donutness.
I mean,
they'd be like, "Wait, did you just give me? Is that a donut?" But it's still the crisp on the outside with the cake kind of feeling on the inside. It's thicker than cake on the inside. It's denser than a donut would be.
It's pretty good in the ice cream.
Agreed.
Some other things that we grabbed were, these are walls. They are little like pork dango.
Oh yeah, you said there was pork in it.
Yeah. I don't remember, did they use tofu in these, or did I shoot?
Yes, it's tofu.
It is?
And
Okay.
I'm in
It's
my
like maybe
mind.
the breading is tofu or something?
No, the whole thing is tofu, and it's got meat bits in it, or meat is the flavoring that has been used. When I think about tofu, I think about vegetarian. So it really surprised me when you said budaniku, pork, that, whoa.
Those are balls.
Wow, that's a interesting smell. We're going to put the ice cream on it?
I don't think so. It really, really smells like pork.
Oh my god, that's good. How do you describe this?
Okay, so the inside is kind of wet and fluffy, but like in a good way. If you've had like a meatball,
Oh,
like,
it's a
like
hush puppy a soggy hush puppy with pork, like little bits of pork, like that has been blended into the batter.
Yeah, it tastes really good.
It's astoundingly good. Wow.
You want more balls?
I don't need ice cream, that's for sure. Wow. I pressed it into my tongue because I really wanted that flavor.
The ice cream, by the way, is fine. It is definitely not. I mean, it definitely does not taste like it was made with milk. Like, it definitely tastes like it was made with like soy milk. I think I'm just sort of falling out of love with ice cream in general as a person, which is really bizarre.
It's not bizarre when you have an allergy to it.
Yeah, I don't know. Or intolerance. I just can't tolerate it. What are those? That's
These are, like,
mega deep fried.
Yuzu kind of shumai. What's the thing that you get from the American Chinese restaurant? It starts with an R, and it's kind of
Crab
like a
Rangoon?
Rangoon. There we go. Yeah, that's what these remind me of. I think I'm gonna be very disappointed.
They're really wet.
Yeah, tofu doesn't like
It
harden.
smells like there's fish in it. I want you to bite into that before you tell me if I'm going to be okay eating that. Is it fishy?
You will not like this.
You said yuzu, so I was kind of excited. God,
Yeah.
it's really greasy. I need a
I
shower
was
after touching
very
that thing.
excited. It is way fishy. Wow, you would not survive.
Yeah, my nose sniffed that one out, man. But is it good? Do you like it?
I'd say it's fine.
Is it yuzu-y?
No. So I
Did
don't
we
know.
misread something, or was it like labeled wrong?
I'd have to go back and look at the sign. There's some like surprising little like pickles inside of it that get a little hot. It's an interesting one, but I wouldn't say a good one. I'm gonna go back to the donut. We're back at our starting station, Tachikawa Minami. There's actually a Minami and a Kita, which kind of straddle the JR station in the middle. So this is a huge hub. As you can see, there's a lot of people behind me going away from the monorail. They're all going to JR because more than likely they're going into the city or to other places that aren't attached to the monorail. But are they riding in the sky? Are these chumps riding in the sky? I don't think so. There are some elevated JR platforms, but they're not riding in the sky in my opinion. There's a lot of stuff in Tachikawa. People hear Tachikawa from the big city and they're like, oh, it's just a little humdrum station. There's a lot going on here and a lot packed into a very condensed area. We like living next to Tachikawa. It is convenient and nice and wonderful. And one of the things that we're deciding to showcase is something that I didn't even know was here until I started looking at the Tama monorail and saw that somebody had promoted at this stop, you can go here. And I was like, oh, what stop can you go to Ramen Square at? And it's like the stop that's closest to you. What? There's a Ramen Square near us and I didn't know about it? Behind me you can see the selections of ramens that are happening at the Ramen Square. You can come up here and decide which one you want, which one looks tastiest to you, and then you go and find that shop inside of what I would call a little bit of a splatter, heartless area. Do I just walk around? You're hit by this like kind of lights and looking a little New York, but there's an open area here in the middle that it says that they hold idol shows and family-friendly events. And right now they're holding a family-friendly event. You cannot eat in this area. They are playing with flowers right now. And I don't know if you could ever eat ramen here, because it turns out that each individual shop has seats inside. I've been to these like kind of tour of ramen places in Odaiba. And the one in Odaiba, you just go up kind of like a food court, you tell them what you want, and then you sit at a table with your friends. And everybody can have whatever ramen they want. This is a little bit different in that we'd all have to agree on the ramen shop and go to the ramen shop. So there'd be a big fight out here at this window of what ramen you can have. Because I want this one, and Eric wants that one, and So it's kind of I don't know how I feel about this Ramen Square. I do want to eat the ramen though.
I wonder if historically you can do the thing like you were talking about where you get it from a shop and then eat it in the middle, but they've got it shut down because of COVID. Because they've got this area for it. It's just really, really strange. But more weird, the thing that trips me out even more is like when you think of ramen, do you think of New York? Because like
I didn't even hit on that.
They're going hard with the New York theme up in here, and those aren't two things that go together. I'm sure New York has got some good ramen, but I think more of Japan.
Yeah, here. And then there's like a wall over there with just like breakfast items. And I just sat there reading the breakfast items, and I was like this doesn't seem right.
I feel like you said the word Benedict like 6 times.
Yeah, I did say Benedict multiple times. It just seems off. It seems like they had the right idea to give me all the ramen I could ever want, but the way they presented it is really far off the mark.
Do you see a future where you come over here and eat some of these ramens?
Yeah, definitely. So, I mean, but I'm not coming for the ambiance, that's for sure. Unless, maybe they want to, I can do the flower things?
I just kind of wish you could get like a New York slice or something, you know what I mean? Like or some like a deli.
There's an arrow that's like, the pizzeria's over there, and I was like, oh, the pizzeria. It's not over there, because it's all a lie.
Like Katie said, we stopped at Tachikawa Minami, which means south, and it straddles, I think that's the same word you used actually, it straddles the JR line, which is the main line that would go into the city, with Tachikawa Kita, which is the north monorail station. And they are so close that you can see like the south one is here, and it's going to be hard to tell in the camera, but you got to promise me it's just right back here.
Yeah.
So we're just walking between the two, and as you can see, we're like literally underneath the monorail right now.
Yeah, that's what's giving us shade, which is nice.
Yeah.
Today's hot.
It is warm, guys.
My mustache is soggy. Is your mustache soggy?
No, it doesn't get soggy unless I have a cold.
Oh, ew. This is accurate. It's up there. It's on my face. It is hot today. But he's actually not telling you the weather, even though he's correct. This is called Sansan Rodo. And on the north side of the station, underneath the monorail tracks, is super paved. I guess not paved, it's like tiled, but not like, what's the old pony roads? Cobblestone? It's not cobblestone, and it's not paved. It's got like, whatever these things are. I don't know what they are. Anywho, they've gone all the way down the road, creating kind of a walkway for people. This is the walking map of Tachikawa. There's a lot of places that you can go and walk here. Eric and I recently had a fika at this little park, and we've fika'd here. I have a feeling that soon enough we will have fika'd in many parts on this map. But right now, we're walking on Sansan Rodo, and that's this boy's home, and it's just like a quaint little walkway. Quaint's not the right word. It's not. It's kind of just an industrialized little walkway. There's some eateries on the sides and a big shopping mall, and there's also like some government buildings. And at the end is IKEA. I should also point out, it's actually got trees. There are trees here. This is where they corralled all the trees. They're not allowed to be anywhere else but here. And we're gonna enjoy the trees while we can.
Yo, there's also benches.
yeah, there are benches here. You and I were trying to find fika. We found fika, but it wasn't like fikable at a restaurant. So we're like, where are we gonna find a bench? Then we came over here and there were tons of benches and I felt kind of stupid. But it's here, not other places. Here is special. The north side of Tachikawa has definitely got some like random art. Some of them are really cool, but some of them are really like, what's going on here? This is art. This is a giant pot. And part of me thought like maybe they put a little tree in there like at some point in the year, or they do something with it. No, this is what's been happening for the past 5 months that we've lived here, is an empty pot. It's kind of depressing. This is how I feel about this giant pot. Then let's hop to the other side. This is a light fixture. But there's tons of other art in this area, like cool things and weird things and things that just don't seem like they fit the area, but they got put here. We're walking out of the art area, and I just noticed this, and I've walked through this area before, and this structure has been here before. Is that just a stairwell to nothing that's happening over there? Am I pointing at the right thing? Is that making sense? What's going on there?
Let's go look.
Is that art? It's got like a plaque there, so I wonder if this is a stairwell from somewhere else that's like commemorating the stairwell. Are there other stairwell commemorations that we don't know about? What could this be? It's just well, the stairs are underneath it. There's no information under there. It's just more stairs.
What? What is this?
There's absolutely no information.
Iwate no sakura. Fukushima no sakura. Tohoku no sakura. This is about the trees, man.
Nope. Nothing good here.
What the hell?
I mean, we've walked down this road. How did we not notice this several times? That's the good part about videos. You start looking harder at the things that are around you.
I have no idea what the purpose of this is, but there's this kitty here at the 7-Eleven. And he's got some bells. You now know everything I know. One of the major attractions and stops in the Tachikawa area, and we're just really close to the monorail right now, is this park. It's called Showa Kinen Park, and it's a huge park. And the side of it that is near Tachikawa is free to get into. And as you can see, it's this huge green area with what probably needs, I can't keep doing this, which probably needs to have a little more shade to be like really nice. But again, we've talked about how hot it is today. It could just be that I feel like my brain is cooking. But it's a really nice area. And if you go further back inside of here, there's a paid area that you go into, and this is a huge landmass. This park is huge. People come from inside the city just to come to this park. In different seasons have got different attractions because different types of plants are in bloom and things like that. I think most people, when they think of Tachikawa, might think of this park. Like, this is kind of like the namesake of the Tachikawa area for people who don't live in this region. So I think at some point, I kind of want to make a video just exploring this park at some point, but maybe during a season that's less brain cooking. Katie's nodding. She's like, we have finally found some lunch, and as usual, it tends to take longer than I think we expect it to take. We went into one place and we were like, oh, they've got these sandwiches, and we can get these like lovely sandwiches and have sandwiches, and they were like, you can only eat the sandwiches outside. And like they had a restaurant like inside, and they were like,
I think I was willing to buy sandwiches. Like, will you make a sandwich and bring it to the table? But it just didn't seem like that was happening. So it was just like,
she was like, no, we don't serve sandwiches inside.
What do you?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on.
It's really strange. So we just put the sandwiches away, and we left.
Under different circumstances, I would be okay with that, but it's like we kind of want to be in the air conditioning right now because it's like 90, 95 degrees Fahrenheit outside. It's
I think
hot.
my skin is heating this room.
The good news is right next door there is a place, it's a Yakiniku place, so it's like a grill your own meat type of place, and during lunchtime they don't make you grill your own meat. That's not part of the system. You just can come and get a prepared set meal. So we've each gotten a separate set meal that is a meat-based thing.
Do you even know what your meat is?
Mine is oniku.
Oh, Niku.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mine is just the honorific meat.
And it's not chicken. I think it's beef.
Yeah,
it looks beefy.
Mm-hmm.
I assume mine is beef as well. It's ton, and it didn't say gyu in front of it. So,
I assume when I see ton,
Yeah.
it's probably not chicken tongues.
and ton is ton.
Yeah.
So we came to a Yakiniku place, and I could have gotten some things that looked really Korean. They had two options where
That's
like
kind of
Korean
Korean-ish
sets,
vibe, yeah.
and I was just like, you've come to a Yakiniku place, get the Niku.
Can you taste it tasting you?
You'd have to ask it, but it's dead.
The goma dressing on here is intense tasting in a good way.
But look at the number of onions that are here. It might outnumber
The ton.
the ton.
Something interesting about mine. Mine is called an oniku ju, and ju is a kanji that means heavy, sort of, but it also, in this case, stands for like stacked boxes. So as you can see, mine has got some boxes that stack, and on the top stack is the meat, and on the bottom stack is the rice. So I don't know, it's just a cool way of bringing it out. I just think it's really.
I was
really
surprised
nice.
when mine came out because my picture looks like yours, like the stacked boxes. But when mine came out, it was in this bowl. So that donburi means, or don is part of donburi, which means bowl. So you got the ju, and I got the don. It's kind of cool.
Dude. It's really soft. It just like disintegrates. It's actually quite delicious. We're kind of like in this like snooty little area. We're still really close to the monorail, and it's near like the walking path that we saw. Sansan with the sun.
I'm looking at it right now. And we're on the second floor of kind of a shopping mall.
Sort of, yeah.
Ish.
Kind of like a upscale feeling,
yes.
stroll around outside shopping experience.
Yeah.
And everything is a bit expensive. This is like, what was this? This is about 1,400 yen, and it looks like yours was 1,300 yen. So it's over a bill, but probably really close to $10 because of how weak the yen is right now. If that makes you feel any better. You might still be under a bill, American, with American USD dollars. I don't know.
And I feel good about that.
But yeah, we're gonna get refueled here, I think, and then it's time to get back on the monorail. This area is where most of the stuff is. And it's almost like I feel like we could just do a deep dive just into the Tachikawa area itself.
We've already done a stamp rally here.
Yeah.
We could do a lot more.
Yeah, just like digging deep into this. But this video is supposed to be about the monorail, so I think we're going to keep moving out of this area next. I don't know where we're going, but we're going north. We finished our lunch and we've walked up to the next station, which is Takamatsu Eki, and it is just another one of the standard looking stations. I mean, they look pretty cool, like up in the sky and everything, but this is kind of what they all look like, and that's a good thing because they look futuristic, but like, you know, that retro futurism from the 80s. Something that is interesting though about the smaller stations like this one, the ones that aren't near like, you know, major stopping points, is just one of the random ones in the middle. The area with the dude is just like closed. There's nobody here. There's nobody working here. So it's just kind of like running on its own without any staff. Kind of unique because even when you go to a lot of train stations in Japan that have like a low ridership, there'll at least be somebody hovering around someplace. But these genuinely feel empty.
Train's coming up, so we're going to do this very quickly. At some of the stations, they have these black and white line art drawings, and this one is signifying that here at Takamatsu Station, this is where the trains would come when they need to be out of commission, to be cleaned or fixed or anything like that. And we've seen the little rodeo that they have where they go, and it looks cool. We don't know if we're going to get to see it, but this is a drawing of it.
We've come up to the next station, and the first thing that's notable about this station is it gives you a really cool upskirt view of the monorail, and you get to see a bit of how it's functioning and rolling along this singular concrete track, and how it's got wheels that come in from the side that are made of rubber, and it's just a cool view you don't normally get of trains, like just in general. And the other notable thing about this spot is that it sits kind of, we're getting away from Tachikawa, which is where it's sort of built up and urbanish feeling, and there's like a lot going on, and we're sort of in the transition period into the burbs. And once we get a little bit further out, it's like residential, and people have houses, and a lot of people have cars and stuff. And as a result, we've got enough space to put a shopping mall in, and that's where we're standing in front of Lalaport. It's a chain of shopping malls, or these things are all over the country called Lalaport. And the inside of it is like, if you're from America and you're thinking about like what a shopping mall looks like from like, I don't know, the 90s, it's like that, only it's not old. Like they've kept it nice because shopping mall culture hasn't taken this hard decline here the way that it has in other places. So it's like there's still shopping malls. And there is a lot of people, like I said, that would drive here with their cars and things, but they still have a transportation way of getting here. Like the monorail is like literally right next to the shopping mall, so you can get off, and there's a platform that goes from the monorail straight on over to the mall. So it gives it more access for people who are maybe coming from both directions or don't have a car, don't want to come in a car. And they also have like a pretty big area for parking bicycles and things right outside the shopping mall so that people can come by bike. There's a lot of different ways to get here. And even though we're kind of like drifting into the burbs, Japan is still pretty good about that type of infrastructure. And honestly, it's one of the big things that I really like about being in Japan in general, is that there's just all that choice of different ways you can live and do things and get around, and keeps the streets from being congested and yada, yada, yada. I like it.
I was looking at this diagram, trying to figure out like why it mattered. What are they trying to tell me? What they're trying to tell you here is that the elevator is on this side of the station. There's no elevator at the street level on the other side of the road. So the elevator is here. That's where you need to go if you want to elevate. And that's on the Toto-san Gawa, the Toto side of the road. Toto is referencing, what do you think? When you conjure up Toto, what do you think around the world? What do people think? Toilets. Yes, there is a Toto showroom like a few feet away.
It's right there.
Bam. And we're gonna go and see what it's all about over there. We don't even know if one, we could go in, or two, if it's something we can make a video, like bring cameras out and stuff like that. It might get weird near the toilets. It's kind of a private thing. So we're just gonna go over there and take a peek. We've come to another, obviously, station, and 3 seconds away is a toilet showroom. Obviously we're going.
My favorite bit here is the san, like Mr. Toto.
You ever just wanted to go into somewhere and you know that you can, but you know that what you want to do inside that place is not what you're supposed to be doing inside that place, and you'd have to get over the hurdle of somebody trying to sell you a toilet to do it? I think we are not going in. And in these situations, I think there's a 25% chance that I will jump over the hurdle. We are hard in the 75 right now, because I feel like we're gonna go in and then somebody's gonna stand next to us for the entire time asking us what our goal is. And like, I have all the toilets I need right now. And they're all new. So I really don't think that, I feel weird to have gotten off the train, but I got a day pass, so it doesn't matter that I got off the train.
To be super clear, Toto doesn't only sell toilet stuff. Like, they sell like kitchens. Like, you can go in there and buy like an entire kitchen, and it'll be like the counters and the drawers and the sink, and like it's like a whole unit,
bathrooms.
like an entire bathroom, like the walls, the ceiling, everything. So it's not just a toilet place. It's just fun to call it a toilet place.
My toilet says Toto.
Do we have Toto toilets?
I don't really know.
I really don't know. I don't know if we have any Toto-sans.
No, I think we got Lixel.
Oh yeah, maybe we do. I don't know. They're fine.
Yeah, they take my stuff.
This is, I don't know, the third train line that we've made a video series about. And this one is unique in the sense that it's taking us kind of longer than the other ones did, because the trains and only is like, I mean, it's nice that they come this often, but they really only come like every 9 or 10 minutes or so. So if you get off the station to like maybe look at the outside of a toilet showroom and not go in, and then you happen to come up the stairs when the next train is leaving, you've now added 9 or 10 minutes of wait time before you can get back and move again. And that's exactly what our situation is.
3 stations, we have had to just sit here for 9 minutes because we
just
haven't
missed it.
run or we just missed it.
We got distracted because at the station in front of the mall, we saw this lady walk by and she had a Gwar t-shirt on. I've never ever seen anything Gwar related in Japan before that
Except
wasn't
for when Gwar
on.
came to Japan.
Yeah, they came to us. Yeah, but I mean, like at that show, it was almost all foreigners at that show. Like there were some
true. I'm
Japanese
just
people,
saying
but
that, yeah.
it's not something that's like it's fringe. And so we stopped and talked to this lady. We're like, "You have a Gwar shirt on? What is this?" Like she was like all excited and stuff.
Yeah.
Somebody knew what Gwar was, and she's probably never met anybody that met Gwar either, or knew Gwar was either.
She was probably at that show.
So it's possible, yeah. So regardless, like this is just not a tedious process of filming or anything, but there's a lot of just like what we're doing right now, sitting here and kind of waiting for the next station.
Practicing kanji.
Yeah. What is?
Waiting for the train to come.
Do you know the next station we're gonna get off at is?
It is Tamagawa Jōsui.
Okay. Is it cool?
No. We're actively getting off it to show residential areas.
Oh, is that what we're gonna? Okay, cool. So we'll get
Is
off
it
and we'll kind of
cool?
show that.
No. Something just prompted me to explain that the Tama Monorail was not built all in one go. It was built in 2 chunks, and you're gonna have to help me with dates if you happen to remember them. I know that in 2000, January of 2000, the newer stations were brought online, and that's stations that are down by Tama Center, where we started at the Sanrio Puro Lando. Those are newer, they're a little more fancier. The one that we're at right now just introduced me to how unfancy it can be because of the 4 toilets, 3 squatters, 1 Western.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and I was very surprised. I would like you to know that I just sat on a Toto toilet. I could have done a showroom exhibit for you, but I didn't. And yeah, the squatters were surprising. Number 1, to be in a station. Most stations don't have squatters anymore. I shouldn't say that. Like, it's just surprising because to me, train stations of any sort are kind of modern-esque.
My understanding is this would have been built in '98.
In 98, okay.
Yeah, so that seems like not squatter time anymore to me.
So did the Tama Monorail like start in 98?
Yeah, that's in the first phase, I think.
Okay, yeah. So we're in that chunk of the first phase, and granted, it's probably been updated in some ways, but they decided that the squatting needed to continue. So yesterday we looked up this area.
It's raining now, by the
way. Yesterday you looked it up and you zoomed in one area and we're like, okay, there are houses there. Let's just go and see what the residential situation is all about. That was our aim. Today, as we're coming in, I just wanted to like make sure we were on the right track. And I also looked at Google Maps and I found a very strange structure that seemed to expand further than I expected. And I thought, oh, those houses are really, really small. And it turns out those houses are graves. And those houses are numerous and they stretch way far back over there. And I'm starting to wonder if at this station there are more dead people than alive people. Because this is one of the largest grave sites that I've seen in Tokyo.
It's really big.
It's very, very big, and Eric made a really interesting point about it, that it kind of seems like a parking lot as opposed to a graveyard.
Yeah, it doesn't have a really good vibe going on. A lot of times, like
There's not good death vibes here.
Like a lot of Japanese graveyards will have like some like trees and like a shrine and some temple or something nearby, and like it's just kind of like woven into the location in which they are. This one feels like literally they took a parking lot and they just put a bunch of graves in the parking lot. It feels commercial or something. I don't know. It just doesn't feel like
It
doesn't have
budget.
it doesn't have the ambiance that one would expect from typical Japanese graveyards. It's definitely surprising, yeah.
And just to note that the rain at this time of day is very Virginia-esque. The pavement is going to start steaming and it'll feel a little more humid but colder, and I am
feels pretty good.
Okay with this.
It's been so hot. This feels pretty nice. Even if I can't really see anything now because of my glasses. You need wipers, man.
Ow, it got me in the eye. I don't have wipers. Wikipedia turned me on to something that was going to piss me off, and that was, if you look at the name here, this is not part of the Tama Monorail. At this station, Tamagawa Josui, the Seibu line crosses here with the Tama Monorail. And so you're getting to see the front of the Seibu station. And the name, take a look at it, ingest it. We're gonna go to another location, and then we're gonna compare it. Because there's irritation to be found. All right, we're over at the Tama Monorail entrance. It's literally, I can see it from over there, okay? We're over at this one. Take a look at the spelling. I'm a proofreader. Eric said I needed to explain to people why I'd be irritated about this. I need consistency in my life throughout all stations in the world. The hyphen is now missing. The line above the O is gone. Couldn't these two groups just get together and be like, all right, let's just be on the same spelling tip here? But they weren't. But another thing of interest, which is just over here, is this really interesting kind of modern meets post-war Koban. It looks kind of dingy, but yet like that it was built maybe in the last decade or so. It doesn't look like the 1970s Kobans that have been happening. It looks more modern than that. And we can't tell what it's made out of. And it seems to be covered in grid rope. That's the only way I can think to say, like rope that goes both ways, and like a canvas of rope.
It's called a net.
It's called grid rope.
It's not common to see police scooters. Usually they use cars or bicycles. This is kind of a cool find. This station I expected to get off and not trip and fall backwards as I walk. But I expected to go to a residential area, but when we were coming in, I looked out the window and it reminded me, I've actually been up here during my, that's dangerous, during my live streams on my bike, and I had come across this little park. I don't know if it's a park, with this stretch of green that is running next to the train line. Not the monorail, the train line, the Seibu train line. And it had just struck my eye when I had come through here on my bike before, and I kind of wanted to show it to Katie. And when we walked by, she didn't know what we were coming over here for. And she was like, oh wow, that's kind of cool. Like she thought the same thing I thought when I had come here. And it's just a nice little path. I do sort of wish it wasn't fenced off. It kind of kills the ambiance a little bit, but maybe this stops children from dying in the water. So maybe it's an ambiance destruction that's necessary to, you know, make sure people don't die. So I can kind of understand it. Also of note, listen, that's summer, that's Japan. Those are they're cicadas, and they're noisy. A lot of people hate them, but I kind of like them.
I hate them.
All right, I've now stood here for like 2 minutes to like make some B-roll. I'm ready to get out of here. I've had enough of the mosquitoes. It's like a problem, y'all. All right, so we stopped and we had some fika. We were in this little cafe called, was it called Muffin or Kitten or something? What was it?
It was Cafe Mitten.
Cafe Mitten.
It's a mix between a kitten.
Muffin and a kitten. This lady that was there who lived in Ohio like way back in the day, and she was super, super nice, and she had lots of little different pastries and stuff that she had made, muffins and gingerbread and coffee, and it was a very, very pleasant experience to just chill in there for a little bit. But it was, sometimes we don't like to like film in places that are really small, like it's kind of awkward. And it was really small in there, so we just made some B-roll so you could see what we had and just believe it was a nice experience. And we've come kind of behind it. We're still pretty close to the monorail, and I want to just kind of walk down this and kind of just maybe peek around this corner. This is just what this looks like in this area when I keep talking about residential. So you can just see like this is just houses, and there's some apartment buildings and some bicycles and just like that kind of stuff. It's just where people live, and that's what a lot of what running along the Tama monorail is it's this stuff. And the reason that we have haven't gotten off at every single station because a lot of it is just like, I don't know how to make this more than what it is. I mean, it's nice and it's a nice place to live because it's very peaceful and there's still a little bit of space, even though some of the houses are close and like yada, yada, yada. Like it's all like, it's just living area, really. So we have tried to kind of get off at most of the stations, but there definitely have been some we buzzed past.
One of the stations, the highlight was the Family Mart. Like that was in the list of things to do was Family Mart.
Which is just like a
and then this one just had the spelling error or whatever.
Yeah, but then we actually ended up finding this is the same station that had the graveyard, the huge graveyard.
Yeah.
And
why didn't they write that down? That was crazy. I lost you. I'm sorry. I got so.
Oh, my bad.
You weren't even in the video there.
I gotta really like.
Doing a bad
if I
job.
do this, then this is better. It's harder for me to fall out. You're walking kind of fast too, so I feel like I'm jogging.
This is an interesting looking place.
Yeah. What is this?
Looks like it was a cafe of some sort.
It looks like a ski lodge, kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see any markings on it. It's now a place with a vending machine. We have reached the end of the line here on the monorail system. And as you can see, this one is departing, going back the way we came. And this brings us to an interesting point about how monorails and all train systems need to work. At some point, the tracks need to be able to change over so things can reverse and go past each other. And if they have a problem with a train, they can take it off the track and stuff. So like train systems, like normal, like legacy train systems, not monorails in the sky, have got a track switching system like what people think, and it's fairly simple the way that it works. And you got to think about the fact this worked in like the 1800s or whatever. They had just, somebody went out there and like cranked a thing and it moved, and it just moves the steel and then the train rolls along the thing. But when you think about a monorail, one of the reasons that monorails aren't as prolific as the 1960s kind of led us to believe they would be is because the track switching for a monorail system is really complex. Because think about it, you're in the sky and you've got a monorail, like a big concrete thing, and it's got, of course, rails and things and the power and all that stuff, but you've got to move a concrete thing, and moving a concrete thing is complicated. And here at the end of the line, you can get a pretty good view of the switching system, because when it comes into this station, it's actually on the farther track when it's coming in, but it needs to come to this side, so when it goes back, it's on the correct side, and they can go around each other when they're on the track. So just like watching this gigantic concrete structure warp, it's almost like watching concrete bend. It's an interesting view of this thing that you get, and just like it looks unnatural almost, because you know in your head like what concrete is, but it's just like moving like a snake. It's pretty cool to just see, and it is, like I said, it's one of the reasons that monorail systems aren't as popular, because that system is pretty complex, it's pretty expensive, and if that one point fails, what do? Like the whole system is down. So yeah, moving concrete's hard, but it's kind of neat.
Well, this is unexpected. We've come to the final station, Kamikitadai, and I had thought that near here, and it is near, but the definition of near is relative. There's supposed to be a baseball stadium, and I thought, okay, great, we're gonna go to the baseball stadium, and maybe we won't watch a game or whatever, but we'll be around the area and we'll talk about something. It turns out that that's an hour and 20-minute walk. We are not going to do that. That is way more. Like you then need a car, and then we're no longer on the monorail. So I think much like the end of the monorail here, this video is ending as well. I was sitting here eating and I was like, this is salty. It's called negishio-tan. Even though we had this really in-depth tour of the monorail, I still think there's a lot to discover, and I still think it looks like the future when we go by it. Like, you know how some movies just don't age well? and they just lose that sheen that they had of like, oh, this was a futuristic thing. Like, maybe the monorail is the Back to the Future of now. Like, it really doesn't lose it. It's in the sky, and it just looks so cool.
I kind of agree with you. It is a really cool structure, and it's cool that we have it so close to us and we get to see it all the time. I'm just like walking down the road, and it's like monorail, and they come frequently enough that it's like pretty common, but it's not wearing off. I don't know why,
No,
but it's not
wearing off.
wearing off. These sky trains are dope, man.
Yeah,
I'm
the
into
sky
it.
trains. Very, very cool.
So not tomorrow, but the day after, that, we are going to be leaving on a trip to go do some pedaling around the Fujigoko area. So we should be having a series of videos from bicycle adventures coming unless some sort of disaster strikes us. So make sure that you are subscribed with the bell ring so you don't miss the...
Can we title that series Hurt Crotches and Beautiful Scenery?
Oh, how about Tough Taints and...
just Tough Taints. That's like our new team name. It's gonna be for any sport. If somebody came out and it was any sport and they called themselves the Tough Taints, you'd be like, wow, it's gonna be a hard one. These guys are legit. It doesn't even matter if they could play.
So yeah, make sure you're subscribed and everything so you don't miss the stuff that comes up
out of our mouths.
Yeah, and by the time you see this video, it's very highly likely that we will have already finished that trip. However, we do plan on live streaming some of it too, so make sure you're following us over on Twitch. That is where we're really trying to grow some stuff, and I think some of our content is sort of like the come along and hang out with us on trips type of thing. It's kind of cool to do on Twitch. So that's why we're kind of trying to like just see if we can grow that up a bit. So yeah, if that's not your thing, you should check it out. It's like a live streaming platform where we do things in real time and communicate with people while they're watching. It's cool.
And if you can't hang with the Tough Taints, then maybe you shouldn't come.
We've also got a bunch of other
Warning.
social media stuff linked down below, the Instagrams and the Twitters and all that stuff. But the way we make these videos possible on YouTube 100% is through Patreon. So if you want to help us continue making videos like this and get some cool perks, we get some postcard stuff coming, and like
we need a postcard.
Yeah, we do
Like
make
tomorrow.
a postcard tomorrow. Okay, and yeah, like we've got perks over there, and like you hang out with us on Patreon and help us keep making videos. It's really super, super appreciated. And
yeah,
of course,
thank you everybody.
Thanks to everybody that's over there. Are you ready? Are you ready to? I was gonna say juice up the taint, but that doesn't work. What do you do to the taint to prepare it for a long bike ride? What do you?
You gotta gel it up.
Yeah, gel up the
You gotta
taint.
gel it up. And yes, I have bought the shorts.
Gel shorts?
Yeah.
Oh, are they made of gel?
Yeah.
Oh, weird. I don't need the shorts. My taint is like rock solid, man. It's made of steel.
Maybe you don't have one.
Oh no, I've got a taint.
Well, this is unexpected. We've come to the last station, Kamikitadai, and we had expected, whoa! Let's do that again.